I do a lot of reading on my dad, and they were not there to help me through my midlife crisis when I came up with the reason why I hadn't read the book that week. So they helped guide me through, but also look for the role models who would inspire me or show me how other people dealt with a similar situation I might confront one day, either successfully or unsuccessfully. I think it's especially true in the military ranks we look for role models, because the roughest auditor in the world is going to audit your character, your intellect, your physical fitness. And that auditor, of course, is named war, for those of you who go off to fight for this country. This institution was actually established to develop the professional qualities and the character to meet that auditor, so you could meet them, that auditor and all of his challengers that he aligned with them on a battlefield. You could meet those challenges without confusion or hesitation when our country needed you. And since the Civil War, every generation of America has turned to your graduates to help keep alive what I call our experiment in democracy, and that's all it is. It's one great big experiment that's testing to see if a government of the people, by the people, and for the people can long survive in a world that is not helpful on many occasions. You're going to be expected to carry on that legacy. There's many, many ways to do so. And I would just say that I want to share some expectations with you in human terms, the kind of things that I often share with the officers, the young officers, and the young troops who hold the line today in our military. Our nation is emerging from a period of strategic atrophy. I would call it a strategy-free time. I was shocked when I came in. I said, bring me the strategy. This is on my first day. Came in at noon because it was a Saturday. We'd partied late Friday night. I came and said, bring me the strategy. You know, I'm ready to sit down and read it. They shuffled their feet and I said, we don't have one. That was my first indication that we might have a little problem there. And it's not a political statement. This went back over 10 years. We lacked a strategy. I bring this up because today we all recognize that terrorism is a clear and present danger. And our young guys are overseas tonight. It's already dark over there, and they're going out one more time, boarding the helicopters, going on the patrols, helping young Afghan boys find their manhood and take the enemy on. It's going on in Syria, it's going on in Iraq, and a couple of other places we don't talk a lot about. And I think that while it remains a significant threat, today great power competition is the one way we can probably have our way of life changed from freedom to something else. So we've written up a national defense strategy, and we've answered the challenges as we've defined them, the problems we've defined, and we've defined the problems pretty well with 3 lines of effort. The first one is we're going to make the military more lethal. Anytime a military loses sight of its purpose in this world, it ends up getting beaten. That's the bottom line. And I want people to just love to talk to our State Department. And I want them to dislike the idea of confronting our military on the battlefield because they've chosen to pick a fight with us. So a very lethal military with very high levels of readiness is the first line of effort we're putting together to keep our experiment alive. The second line of effort is one where I spend probably most of my time, as General P said, where I'm on the world stage a lot. And that is we're going to strengthen our existing alliances. You know them as NATO or Japan, the bilateral treaties, that sort of thing. We're going to strengthen those, and we're going to broaden them. We're going to make more partners and more alliances around the world so that we don't carry the full burden for this. This is no longer post-World War II with Europe bombed flat and Japan in tatters. These are rich nations now, in no small part due to what General Marshall did when he left this school, having sustained an injury as a rat, and then come out as a natural leader and bred for leadership. And he put together much of the effort. So I'm going back to the future in order to bring his ideas forward from the Marshall Plan, from NATO, and many other places where his thumbprint was so well embedded on everything our nation was doing in terms of foreign policy. And it's very simple why he did this, I think, because anyone who reads history knows that nations with allies thrive, and nations without allies basically wither away. So we're going to create more allies, and then the third thing we're going to do is we're going to modernize the Department of Defense, so every dollar I get, I can look the American Congress in the eye and say, we didn't waste your money. We didn't waste the Treasury, and it went to make our military more lethal. So that's a responsibility we carry, and I would just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that we all know our country's having a tough time right now in a number of areas. I stand here in your beautiful town, your beautiful school, with mixed emotions. I'm so happy to be out of Washington, D.C. right now. Okay? We have problems in the country right now. But I want you to know, probably not well reported, just last week the Senate voted 93-7 to give us a record-breaking budget a second year in a row.
Wow.
Why do I bring that up? I think the House of Representatives will probably vote overwhelmingly as well this week, knock on wood. I think they're going to do that, to give us the same budget. And I bring this up because there's going to be times you're going to watch the news. I don't do it myself. If I want to be depressed, I go to war, you know what I mean? But if you watch the news, you start wondering what's going on in this country. You just keep the faith, my fine young cadets. We're going to pull through this. We've been through worse than this. We're going to modernize that DOD so as we put the money into the defense budget, we can keep the faith and the trust of the American people on which everything else in the Department of Defense depends. VMI's got a key part, I think, in driving progress along lines of effort like this, because we need sharp young people going into the professions in America and certainly into the military as well.